Welcome back to Worldview. Well, we got it right a few months ago. Right here on this show, John Jackson in Hong Kong told us all about the ways in which the U.S. government spies on everyone in the U.S. and globally. He said then that it collects, filters, and stores emails, Skype calls. Even the big boys, Yahoo, Google, Facebook, AOL, and YouTube, are facing customer challenges because they gave the U.S. government access to customer data online via a program called PRISM. Well, John's back here to help us decipher the disclosures leaked by whistleblower Edward Snowden. Now, he's the 29-year-old senior analyst inside the NSA working for Booz Allen Hamilton. Last week, he spoke to The Guardian's Glenn Greenwald there in Hong Kong, where John Jackson is based. John Jackson, welcome back to Worldview.
Thanks for having me.
Now, full disclosure here, John, my estranged daughter works for Booz Allen Hamilton in Washington, D.C. on the Joint Defense Task Force, but because of the word I used before the word daughter, I have a business card, but no idea what it is she does, but it's important to get that out there first. Now, there's so much to dive into here, John. In the interview with Glenn Greenwald, Snowden said, as you've often said, that the reason he chose to make this disclosure in Hong Kong is the openness of the government and free speech. So let's start there. You mentioned in our pre-interview chat the free flow of media within the Principality of Hong Kong.
Sure. Basically, Hong Kong is a global financial center, and as a result, the people here need to have unfiltered news feeds. So they can't have political slants or be filtering out or publishing selected articles. Further, the United Nations rates Hong Kong as the most free economic zone in the world. So this goes right along with being a global financial center.
You talked with us about a number of ways in which the governments spy on their people and the various tools that they use, and you gave us some very good information on how to avoid them using more shielded communication tools. Give us a very brief overview of this program that they call PRISM and how it works and what it is it gathers.
The program, as I understand it, isn't literally a single computer program. It's more like a government program, all right, a different usage, a different definition of the word. And basically, any email that you have on your computer is also stored at Google's servers, and the government has a copy of that also. They also record all of your telephone calls, digitize it, and store it along with everything else. So any of the content in Facebook is all digitized. So all of these things are just computer files. They record everything and save it in Utah.
Now, when Edward was asked why he chose to blow the whistle, he talked about the growth of government and the need to disclose what it is the government does that's in secret consistently. And he really felt it should be the elected representatives that are setting laws out in the open versus these sort of shadow policy decisions. How should this process be made more public?
Well, there shouldn't be any secrecy to it at all. Basically, what we're looking at is comparable to Nazi Germany, Mussolini, Stalin. They all did the same thing, everything in secret, spying. It's out-of-control government.
Certainly, though, there should be some aspects of security and data gathering that should be kept secret, should there not?
Yeah, but I just read an article by a lawyer who pointed out that they need warrants to spy. Okay? They can't just decide who they're going to spy on. They need warrants. They need probable cause. We have a constitution that spells that out called the Fourth Amendment. And I've also seen some legal briefs by a constitutional lawyer who says basically the same thing, that all of this PRISM program is essentially a violation of the Constitution and the Fourth Amendment.
We're talking with John Jackson of Jackson Research. He's based in Hong Kong on Worldview with Dennis Campbell. Now, Daniel Ellsberg, he was the leaker of the Pentagon Papers, and he called the leak here by Edward Snowden perhaps as even more significant and the most significant leak in American history because it has a chance to roll back what is a tantamount to an executive coup against the U.S. Constitution. How big a deal is this?
Well, like I said before, this is comparable to Hitler, Mussolini, and Stalin. Actually, the president, as I understand it, now has more power than Stalin did. He's just simply not accountable. He can do anything he wants, including extrajudicial killings without any explanation. Stalin at least had to explain to his constituency why he was doing it. Obama doesn't have to explain anything to anyone.
Now, here in the UK, Foreign Secretary William Hague was forced to defend the UK's use of intelligence gathering by the US in the House of Commons. Now, how big a deal is this on a global scale?
I just saw another document where they were saying the representation was that most of the internet traffic goes through American servers. So that's at least 50% or more of the, well, the exact percentage I don't know, but over half of all of the global internet traffic is on American servers, and it's all recorded.
So that billion people on Facebook are all going through U.S. servers.
Exactly. Yeah, they're all their information. Even if they erase it, they can't erase what's already on a government computer.
President Obama said this sparked an appropriate debate, these disclosures by Edward Snowden, and he hinted he might welcome a revision of the 2001 Patriot Act, that's the post-9/11 bill from the Bush administration, that seemed to create this spying framework and is the cover under which even this administration operates. What is happening here?
I've also seen the same constitutional judge had some arguments about that or comments about that in a video that I saw. And he says basically the Patriot Act and the National Defense Authorization Act are all constitutional on the face of it, and that they should they're basically not legal under constitutional law, period.
Now, this Edward Snowden guy seems to be very believable, humble, quiet, very much like Bradley Manning, and to a lesser extent Julian Assange before he kind of went crazy. These guys seem to have a conscience streak running through them. Snowden said, I'm no different from anyone else, just another guy who sits and watches what happens, and this is not our place to decide. I was willing to go on the record to defend authenticity. The people should decide what information gets picked up. What's your take on this?
Well, I don't know, did I say this before when the Franklin's quotation, people who sacrifice their freedom for security deserve neither and will lose both. You can't do that and expect that they're going to have any freedom, and that's exactly what's happened. Their freedom is gone, period. They have no constitutional protection. The Fourth Amendment isn't doing them any good at all. The government has run slipshod over all of it.
Getting the story out to a broader audience fixated on The Voice or Britain's Got Talent is going to be extraordinarily different. And coming up in part two, we're going to take a look a little bit deeper into some of the reasons why Edward Snowden chose now to disclose himself and what it is that can be done to awaken the broader populace. Thanks, John. We'll be back in just a minute.
Thank you.
Worldview with Dennis Campbell. Stay right here for part two.